All right. And we are live. Good morning, everyone. Today is April the 8th, and today is also part 50 of my journey to becoming a voice actor. Part 50. That's that's pretty crazy. Well, you know what else is crazy though is I haven't streamed in a while. It's actually, I just checked. It's been 12 days since my last stream. Um, Life's been kind of crazy lately. I've had a lot going on. Um, I have not been posting daily for a while. I think the last thing I posted was a week ago. So my goal is I'd like to try to post something each week, even if it's like a few days a week. I don't know if I'll be able to do every single day just because in the evenings I'm busy with rehearsals. But we'll see. I'll see if I can do daily posts, but um it's going to be more difficult to do that. But I will try. So for announcements, the first thing is I've been working on something sort of off stream. I did a little bit of it on stream. Is about a mythological story, Hercules. Excuse me. So we're gonna try and finish that up today, and then we'll listen to all the part. We'll put them all together and listen to all the parts, and then um, we'll do a bit of reading as well from meditations, and we'll figure out some other stuff that we can do for projects. We'll probably just do some brainstorming, figure out what else I can do, and yeah. My goal is, I think, because for a while, what I did, I had like multiple phases. The first phase was me doing video games, like scenes from video games. Second phase was doing more so uh stuff using AI, creating scripts and stuff. And then this phase, I want to kind of shift gears a bit. Um, I want to shift gears into something a little different where I'm doing stories, not through AI or through from video games, but actual stories that I read. So I'm still gonna try and figure out how I can do that in shorts format, but yeah, that's the plan with that. Excuse me. All right. Well, with that being said, let's get into it. Let's get into this thing. So last where I left off. Let's see, where did I leave off here? The first of Hercules. Ooh, that's loud. Okay, let's turn down the volume a bit. That's also my fault. His 12 labors was that of the Nemean lion. As Hercules ventured into the dark depths of the Eurymanthian boar, amidst the snow-capped peaks of Mount Eurymanthos, Hercules faced the raging boar, its tusks gleaming like ivory in the wintry air. With swift reflexes and unyielding strength, Hercules wrestled the beast into submission, binding it with sturdy ropes before presenting it to King Eurystheus, who cowered in fear at the sight of the monstrous creature. So now we'll do, for this next section, we'll do 5 to 8 and then 9 to 12. So that will be what we do for this section here. We'll just do a quick test. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Perfect. That sounds great. All right, let's do it. Let me make sure my phone notifications are off because I don't want to get called in the middle of this recording. All right, take these off. We don't need those headphones on. Let's get into it. All right. I'm also thinking about if I want to have like my face recorded again with the stuff, but I feel like for the stories, it's better if I have something else in the background. Like one idea I had was maybe just have like some nature in the background while telling the story. Ugh. There's a lot of those shorts that are like, um, you'll have AI voices telling different stories, and then there's other stuff playing in the background. So maybe we can find some interesting background footage to use. Anyways. The fifth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Augean stables. As Hercules stood before the vast expanse of the Augean stables, he beheld the mountain of filth and dung that had accumulated over countless years. Undaunted, Hercules diverted the coursing rivers with skillful precision, unleashing their mighty torrents to cleanse the stables in a single day, the waters washing away the foul stench and grime. I actually need to make sure I'm saying Augean or Augean properly.
Augean.
Augean, not Augean.
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 Ogene. Ogene. Gene.
Pronounce names.
Κόπρο του ευγεία, γεία,
Okay.
Do we have the correct?
γεία. Κόπρο του ευγεία.
No, that's not what I would need to know.
Augean.
Augean.
Augean stables. The Augean stables. The Augean stables. Okay. Let's try this again. The fifth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Augean stables. That didn't sound right. Again. The fifth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Augean stables. The fifth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Augean stables. As Hercules stood before the vast expanse of the Augean stables, he beheld the mountain of filth and dung that had accumulated over countless years. Undaunted, Hercules diverted the coursing rivers with skillful precision, unleashing their mighty torrents to clean. Oh my god. I did not just fuck up with cleanse. Cleanse, really? Try again. We'll get this. Alright, now I can see you guys if you guys have any messages or anything like that. Alright. Let's try this again. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. All right, let's try this again. Let's just, let's do a practice run. Okay, that's what I always forget to do. Just practice without recording, like a practice run of a read through, so I can get used to it. The fifth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Augean stables. As Hercules stood before the vast expanse of the Augean stables, he beheld the mountain of filth and dung that had accumulated over countless years. Undaunted, Hercules diverted the coursing rivers with skillful precision, unleashing their mighty torrents to cleanse the stables in a single day, the waters washing away the foul stench and grime. The sixth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Stymphalian birds. In the shadowy depths of Lake Stymphalus, Hercules confronted, Stymphalian or Stymphalian? Stymphalian, I think, yeah. The sixth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Stymphalian birds. In the shadowy depths of Lake Stymphalus, Hercules confronted the flock of ravenous birds, their metallic feathers glinting ominously in the moonlight. With the resounding clash of his bronze rattle, Hercules sent the birds into a frenzy, his arrows piercing their armored plumage as they fell from the sky like shards of shattered steel. The seventh of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Cretan bull. Across the sun-scorched plains of Crete, Hercules pursued the rampaging bull, its bellowing cries echoing across the rugged landscape. With a mighty roar, Hercules seized the bull by its massive horns, wrestling it into submission before dragging it back to King Eurystheus, who quailed at the sight of the fearsome creature. The eighth of Hercules' 12 labors, was that of the horse of Diomedes. Amid the blood-stained sands of Thrace, Hercules faced the savage steeds of Diomedes, their eyes blazing with fury and hunger. In a ferocious battle, Hercules subdued the wild beasts, their frenzied neighs silenced forever, as he tamed them with the iron grip of his will. Let's keep going here with the practice. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Was that of the belt of Hippolyta. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta, its gleaming links a symbol of her sovereignty. Yet, amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, a tragic misunderstanding ensued, leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Eurythea, Hercules faced the colossal giant Geryon, his triple forms a towering testament to his monstrous power. With a mighty roar, Hercules engaged the giant in a titanic struggle, his club crashing down upon Geryon's flesh as he drove the stolen cattle back to King Eurystheus, their lowing voices a chorus of triumph. The 11th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the apples of Hesperides. The 11th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the apples of the Hesperides. Amidst the verdant groves of the Hesperides, Hercules confronted the fearsome dragon Ladon, its serpentine coils coiled around the sacred tree that bore the golden apples. With the weight of the heavens upon his shoulders, Hercules enlisted the aid of the Titan, Atlas, his weary frame trembling beneath the celestial burden as he plucked the apples from the tree's boughs. The 12th and final labor of Hercules was that of the capture of Cerberus. In the dim recesses of the underworld, Hercules braved the Stygian depths, his heart resolute in the face of death's cold embrace. With the aid of Hermes and Athena, he faced the dread hound Cerberus, its 3 heads snarling and snapping at the fringes of his vision. With unyielding determination, Hercules seized the beast by its iron collar, dragging it back to the land of the living as a testament to his indomitable will. And so, Hercules' feats of strength and bravery became legendary throughout Greece, immortalizing him as one of the greatest heroes of all time. Despite facing countless challenges and enduring unimaginable hardships, Hercules emerged triumphant, proving that even the mightiest of obstacles could be overcome with courage, determination, and the will to atone for one's past mistakes. All right. I'm actually gonna do 22 minutes, right? So okay, let's try this again. The 5th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Augean stables. As Hercules stood before the vast expanse of the Augean stables, he beheld the mountain of filth and dung that had accumulated over countless years. Undaunted, Hercules diverted the coursing rivers with skillful precision, unleashing their mighty torrents to cleanse the stables in a single day, the waters washing away the foul stench and grime. The 6th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Stymphalian birds. In the shadowy depths of Lake Stymphalus, Hercules confronted the flock of ravenous birds, their metallic feathers glinting ominously in the moonlight. With a resounding clash of his bronze rattle, Hercules sent the birds into a frenzy, his arrows piercing their armored plumage as they fell from the sky like shards of shattered steel. The seventh of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Cretan bull. Across the sun-scorched plains of Crete, Hercules pursued the rampaging bull, its bellowing cries echoing across the rugged landscape. With a mighty roar, Hercules seized the bull by its massive horns, wrestling it into submission before dragging it back to King Eurystheus, who quailed at the sight of the fearsome creature. The eighth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the horses of Diomedes. Amid the blood-stained sands of Thrace, Hercules faced the savage steeds of Diomedes, their eyes blazing with fury and hunger. In a ferocious battle, Hercules subdued the wild beasts, their frenzied neighs silenced forever as he tamed them with the iron grip of his will. All right, let's see how that sounds. The fifth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Augean stables. As Hercules stood before the fifth of Hercules' 12 labors The fifth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Augean stables. Augean stables. As Hercules stood before the vast expanse of the Augean stables. He beheld the mountain of filth and dung that had accumulated over countless years. Undaunted, Hercules diverted the coursing rivers with skillful precision. Unleashing their mighty torrents to cleanse the stables in a single day. The waters washing away the foul stench and grime. The sixth of Hercules' 12 labors. Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Stymphalian birds. In birds, 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 In the shadowy depths of Lake Symphalis, Lake Symphalis, Hercules confronted the flock of ravenous birds. Hercules confronted the flock of ravenous birds. Birds. Their metallic feathers glinting ominously in the moonlight. With a resounding clash of his bronze rattle, Hercules sent the birds into a frenzy. His arrows piercing their armored plumage. Excuse me. As they fell from the sky like shards of shattered steel. The seventh of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the Cretan bull. Across the sun-scorched plains of Crete. Hercules pursued the rampaging bull. I like how this is sounding so far. Its bellowing cries echoing across the rugged landscape. The volume range is actually really good too. It's not too loud, it's not too quiet. It could be a little louder probably, but overall like the level's pretty solid. Going across the rugged landscape. Landscape. With a mighty roar, Hercules seized the bull by its massive horns, wrestling it. Into submission before dragging it back to King Eurystheus. Eurystheus, who quailed at the sight of the fearsome creature. The eighth of Hercules' 12 labor. Eighth of Hercules' 12 that sounds a bit weird. Hercules' 12 labors. Hercules' 12 labors. The eighth of Hercules' 12 labor. Hercules' 12 labor. Eighth of Hercules' 12 labor. Hercules' 12 labors. No, it just sounds Hercules' really 12 labors. We'll have to keep it like that. Let's I could do like Hercules' 12 labor. Hercules' That's a bit tricky. Hercules' 12 of Hercules' 12 labors. Hercules' 12 labors. Hercules' 12 labors. No, that sounds weird if we do it like that. Hercules' 12 labors. The 8th of Hercules' 12 labors. Hercules' 12 labors. Alright, well, we'll leave it like that for now. Should be okay. Was that of the horses of Diomedes. Amid the blood-stained sands of Thrace. Stained sands of Thrace. Of Thrace. Hercules faced the savage steeds of Diomedes. Hercules faced savage steeds of Diomedes, their eyes blazing with fury and hunger. In a ferocious battle. Hercules subdued the wild beasts. Their frenzied neighs silenced forever. Silenced neighs. Their frenzied neighs silenced forever. As he tamed them with the iron grip. Of his will. All right. Let's listen to that back. All right, let's see. This will be Oh, that's nice. I think that'll work well. wrestling it into submission before dragging it back to King Eurystheus, who quailed at the sight of the fearsome creature. The eighth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the horses of Diomedes. Amid the blood I think that sounds pretty good. Okay. Well, I'm pretty happy with that, honestly. Grip of his will. So we'll save that as, we'll export this. Be part 3. All right. The fifth of Diomedes. Okay. Next up, the next set of 4. Just have to respond to somebody very quickly. All right. Let's continue. Very strong start, I gotta say. Very, very strong start. All right. Let's do the next one. So that's a potential thing we could use is the violin there. That is nice. I'll add that in the playlist just in case. All right, let's do these last 4 labors. Okay. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta, its gleaming links a symbol of her sovereignty. Yet, amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, a tragic misunderstanding ensued, leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Eurythia, not Eurythia, Eurythia. Let's try that again from the top. The 9th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta, its gleaming links a symbol of her sovereignty. Yet, amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, a tragic misunderstanding ensued, leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Eurythia, not Eurythia, Eurythia. Okay, I know what I need to do. So whenever it comes to like words that I have trouble pronouncing and stuff, literally I just have to break it down. So let's go. So it's Eurythia. 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 Excuse me. Okay, try this again. So let's see, just to make sure. Geryon is right. I don't think it's Geryon. Geryon. The cattle of Geryon. Yeah, that's right. And then Eurystheus, I know already. Hesperides. Atlas. Cerberus, Stygian, Hermes, Athena. Indomitable. Yeah. Hippolyta. Hippolyta. The belt of Hippolyta. The belt of Hippolyta. Hippolyta. The belt of Hippolyta. Ugh. All right. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta, its gleaming links, a symbol of her sovereignty. Yet amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, a tragic misunderstanding ensued, leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Eurythia, Hercules faced the colossal giant, Geryon. His triple forms a towering testament to his monstrous power. Eurythia. Across the sun-baked plains of Eurythia. Eurythia. You know what? I actually don't even know if that's the right pronunciation. I might be screwing that up. It might be Erythia, not Eurythia. Let's find out. Ugh.
Erythea.
Erythia.
Erythea.
Yeah, Erythia. Great.
Erythea. Erythea.
It is Erythia. I had a feeling. So it's more like Erithia. Erith. Erythia. Yeah. Okay. Let's try again. It's important we get this down because we got to get the pronunciation down right. All right, here we go. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta. Why did I say it like that? Hippolyta. No. Fuck. Okay. Try again. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta, its gleaming links a symbol of her sovereignty. Yet, amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, a tragic misunderstanding ensued, leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Erythea, Hercules faced the colossal giant, Geryon. His triple forms a towering testament to his monstrous power. With a mighty roar, Hercules engaged the giant in a titanic struggle, his club crashing down upon Geryon's flesh as he drove the stolen cattle back to King Eurystheus, their lowing voices a chorus of triumph. The 11th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the apples of the Hesperides. Amidst the verdant groves of the Hesperides, Hercules confronted the fearsome dragon, Ladon. Its serpentine coils coiled around the sacred tree that bore the golden apples. With the weight of the heavens upon his shoulders, Hercules enlisted the aid of the Titan Atlas, his weary frame trembling beneath the celestial burden as he plucked the apples from the tree's boughs. The 12th and final labor of Hercules was that of the capture of Cerberus. In the dim recesses of the underworld, Hercules braved the Stygian depths, his heart resolute in the face of death's cold embrace. With the aid of Hermes and Athena, he faced the dread hound Cerberus, its 3 heads snarling and snapping at the fringes of his vision. With unyielding determination, Hercules seized the beast by its iron collar, dragging it back to the land of the living as a testament to his indomitable will. And so, Hercules' feats of strength and bravery became legendary throughout Greece, immortalizing him as one of the greatest heroes of all time. Despite facing countless challenges and enduring unimaginable hardships, Hercules emerged triumphant, proving that even the mightiest of obstacles could be overcome with courage, determination, and the will to atone for one's past mistakes. That felt so-so. Felt like a little rusty. And I also think I mispronounced Erythea wrong. It's Erythea. Right? Erythea. 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 Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules sought the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta, its gleaming links. Amid the clash of bronze and the cry, the 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Erythea, Hercules faced the colossal giant, Geryon. Of Erythea. Yeah. Not great, honestly. Could be a lot better. But, yeah. We will take a break, take a small break, and then we will come back after the break. So I will see you all in about 10 minutes or so. Okay, we are back. So let's finish up with those last four labors. Want to get those down, and then a little bit of brainstorming, and then some reading. That's the plan. We're gonna read for about an hour or so. So let's continue. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Okay, why is this? There we go. The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest, Hercules saw the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta, its gleaming links, a symbol of her sovereignty. Yet, amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, a tragic misunderstanding ensued, leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Erythea, Hercules faced the colossal giant Geryon, his triple forms a towering testament to his monstrous power. With a mighty roar, Hercules engaged the giant in a titanic struggle, his club crashing down upon Geryon's flesh as he drove the stolen cattle back to King Eurystheus, their lowing voices a chorus of triumph. The 11th of Hercules' 12 labors was that of the apples of the Hesperides. Amidst the verdant groves of the Hesperides, Hercules confronted the fearsome dragon Ladon. Its serpentine coils coiled around the sacred tree that bore the golden apples. With the weight of the heavens upon his shoulders, Hercules enlisted the aid of the Titan Atlas, his weary frame trembling beneath the celestial burden as he plucked the apples from the tree's boughs. The 12th and final labor of Hercules was that of the capture of Cerberus. In the dim recesses of the underworld, Hercules braved the Stygian depths, his heart resolute in the face of death's cold embrace. With the aid of Hermes and Athena, he faced the dread hound Cerberus, its three heads snarling and snapping at the fringes of his vision. With unyielding determination, Hercules seized the beast by its iron collar, dragging it back to the land of the living as a testament to his indomitable will. And so, Hercules' feats of strength and bravery became legendary throughout Greece, immortalizing him as one of the greatest heroes of all time. Despite facing countless challenges and enduring unimaginable hardships, Hercules emerged triumphant, proving that even the mightiest of obstacles could be overcome with courage, determination, and the will to atone for one's past mistakes. Let's see how this one sounds. Hopefully it's good. The ninth The ninth of Hercules' 12 labors. Was that of the belt of Hippolyta. Beneath the shadowed boughs of the Amazonian forest. Hercules saw the golden girdle of Queen Hippolyta. Its gleaming links. A symbol of a symbol of a symbol of a symbol of her sovereignty. Yet, amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, amid the clash of bronze and the cries of battle, a tragic misunderstanding ensued. A tragic misunderstanding ensued, leading to the untimely demise of the noble queen and the acquisition of her prized belt. The 10th of her. I don't know. It sounds like I'm congested. It's because I have fucking. Sometimes what can happen is you can have mucus built up here, and it can screw with your voice. That's what's happening. So I don't know about this one. The 10th of Hercules' 12 labors. Like I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can definitely hear what it's saying. Was that of the cattle of Geryon. Was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun. Was that of the cattle of Geryon. Across the sun-baked plains of Erythea. Hercules faced the colossal giant Geryon. His triple forms a towering testament to his monstrous power. With a mighty roar, Hercules engaged the giant in a tight. Yeah, I can. Oh, God damn it! All right, I think this is a sign to put a pause on it for now. Here, we'll do the next part tomorrow. I'll have lots of time tomorrow, but yeah, sometimes it's good to just take a step back. Tomorrow, I'll be in a much better spot, and that's okay. With that being said, I guess let's look at some ideas for stories here. Yeah, that's one I could do actually. Orpheus and Eurydice. That's a very it's a very sad, but it's a very good story from Greek mythology. Oh, we could do that. Yeah. Sisyphus would be a good one, yeah. King Midas and the Golden Touch. Okay. I think that's good for now. Those three. Or we could do Icarus and Daedalus. Damn. I'm just reading the story of Sisyphus. It is wild. That's crazy. This guy is the biggest troll in Greece. Oh man. What a guy. I'll read this really quick, but it says here, uh basically he uh actually no, this is too good not to just have her. I definitely want to do this. Yeah. That's funny. I'll save this actually in under voice acting. There. All right. Okay. Well, let's see. I think I'll take another quick break, and then when we come back, we'll do an hour, a full hour of reading, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. We might even finish the book today, honestly. It's possible. But yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes, guys. All right, and we are back. And I'm just realizing this camera looks really weird like that, so I'm just gonna do that. That looks way better. Okay. That looks way better. All right, let's do the remaining hour and a bit of this stream for some reading, or with some reading. Let's finish it off with some reading. All right, everyone. Let us continue with our reading. I'm going to change the screen to being the nature here. There we go. Oh, I don't want to open that. There we are. Okay. So, let us continue where we left off. And last where we left off, Marcus Aurelius was talking about what it is that we should be focusing on the most. About our nature. And letting nature run its course. And the very last thing he talked about was what is left for us to prize? What is it that we should be caring about? If we shouldn't be worried about anything else. And he says here, what's left for us to prize? I think it's this: to do and not do what we were designed for. That's the goal of all trades, all arts, and what each of them aims at. That the thing they create should do what it was designed to do. So what he's saying there is that the goal that we should be striving for is to do and not to do what we were designed for the sake of its purpose. Instead of trying to do it for another reason and going against it. So let us continue. 17. The elements move upward, downward, in all directions. The motion of virtue is different, deeper. It moves at a steady pace on a road hard to discern, and always forward. 18. The way people behave. They refuse to admire their contemporaries, the people whose lives they share. No, but to be admired by posterity, people they've never met and never will. That's what they set their hearts on. You might as well be upset at not being a hero to your great-grandfather. "19. Not to assume it's impossible because you find it hard, but to recognize that if it's humanly possible, you can do it too. 20. In the ring, our opponents can gouge us with their nails or butt us with their heads and leave a bruise, but we don't denounce them for it, or get upset with them, or regard them from then on as violent types. We just keep an eye on them after that. Not out of hatred or suspicion, just keeping a friendly distance. We need to do that in other areas. We need to excuse what our sparring partners do and just keep our distance without suspicion or hatred. 21. If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I'll gladly change. It's the truth I'm after, and the truth never harmed anyone. What harms us is to persist in self-deceit and ignorance. Just making sure the mic's working. Yeah, okay, we're good. Mic is still working. Let us continue. 22. I do what is mine to do. The rest doesn't disturb me. The rest is inanimate, or has no logos, or it wanders at random and has lost the road. 23. When you deal with irrational animals, with things and circumstances, be generous and straightforward. You are rational. They are not. When you deal with fellow human beings, behave as one. They share in the logos and invoke the gods regardless. Don't worry about how long you'll go on doing this. A single afternoon would be enough. 24. Alexander the Great and his mule driver both died, and the same thing happened to both. They were absorbed alike into the life force of the world, or dissolved alike into atoms. 25. Think how much is going on inside you every second, in your soul, in your body. Why should it astonish you that so much more, everything that happens in that all embracing unity, the world, is happening at the same time? 26. If someone asked you how to write your name, would you clench your teeth and spit out the letters one by one? If he lost his temper, would you lose yours as well? Or would you just spell out the individual letters? Remember, your responsibilities can be broken down into individual parts as well. Concentrate on those, and finish the job methodically, without getting stirred up or meeting anger with anger. 27. How cruel to forbid people to want what they think is good for them. And yet, that's just what you won't let them do when you get angry at their misbehavior. They're drawn toward what they think is good for them. But it's not good for them. Then show them that. Prove it to them, instead of losing your temper. 28. Death. The end of sense perception, of being controlled by our emotions, of mental activity, of enslavement to our bodies. 29. Disgraceful. For the soul to give up when the body is still going strong. 30. To escape imperialization, that indelible stain. It happens. Make sure you remain straightforward, upright, reverent, serious, unadorned, an ally of justice, pious, kind, affectionate. Excuse me. And doing your duty with a will. Fight to be the person philosophy tried to make you. Revere the gods. Watch over human beings. Our lives are short. The only rewards of our existence here are an unstained character and unselfish acts. Take Antoninus as your model, always. His energy in doing what was rational, his steadiness in any situation, his sense of reverence, his calm expression, his sense of reverence, his calm expression, his gentleness, his modesty, his eagerness to grasp things, and how he never let things go before he was sure he had examined them thoroughly, understood them perfectly. The way he put up with unfair criticism without returning it, how he couldn't be hurried, how he wouldn't listen to informers, how reliable he was as a judge of character and of actions, not prone to backbiting or cowardice or jealousy or empty rhetoric, content with the basics in living quarters, bedding, clothes, food, servants, how hard he worked, how much he put up with, his ability to work straight through till dusk. Because of his simple diet, he didn't even need to relieve himself except at set times. His constancy and reliability as a friend, his tolerance of people who openly questioned his views, and his delight at seeing his ideas improved on, his piety, without a trace of superstition, so that when your time comes, your conscience will be as clear as his. 31. Awaken. Return to yourself. Now. No longer asleep. Knowing they were only dreams. Clear-headed again. Treat everything around you as a dream. 32. I am composed of a body and a soul. Things that happen to the body are meaningless. It cannot discriminate among them. Nothing has meaning to my mind except its own actions, which are within its own control. And it's only the immediate ones that matter. Its past and future actions, too, are meaningless. 33. It's normal to feel pain in your hands and feet. If you're using your feet as feet and your hands as hands, And for a human being to feel stress is normal, if he's living a normal human life. And if it's normal, how can it be bad? 34. Thieves, perverts, parricides, dictators, the kind of pleasures they enjoy. 35. Have you noticed how professionals will meet the man on the street halfway, but without compromising the logos of their trade? Should we as humans feel less responsibility to our logos than builders or pharmacists do? A logos we share with the divine? "36. Asia and Europe, distant recesses of the universe. The ocean, a drop of water. Mount Athos, a molehill. The present, a split second in eternity. Minuscule, transitory, insignificant." 36a. Everything derives from it, that universal mind, either as effect or consequence. The lion's jaws, the poisonous substances, and every harmful thing, from thorns to mud, are byproducts of the good and beautiful. So don't look at them as alien to what you revere, but focus on the source that all things spring from. 37. If you've seen the present, then you've seen everything. As it's been since the beginning, as it will be forever. The same substance, the same form, all of it. 38. Keep reminding yourself of the way things are connected, of their relatedness. All things are implicated in one another and in sympathy with each other. This event is the consequence of some other one. Things push and pull on each other and breathe together and are one. 39. The things ordained for you, teach yourself to be at one with those, and the people who share them with you. Treat them with love, with real love. "40. Implements, tools, equipment. If they do what they were designed for, then they work. Even if the person who designed them is miles away. But with naturally occurring things, the force that designed them is present within them and remains there, which is why we owe it special reverence, with the recognition that if you live and act as it dictates, then everything in you is intelligently ordered, just as everything in the world is. 41. You take bad things you don't control and define them as good or bad. And so, of course, when the bad things happen, or the good ones don't, you blame the gods and feel hatred for the people responsible, or those you decide to make responsible. Much of our bad behavior stems from trying to apply those criteria. If we limited good and bad to our own actions, we'd have no call to challenge God or to treat other people as enemies. All of us are working on the same project, some consciously with understanding, some without knowing it. I think this is what Heraclitus meant when he said that, quote, those who sleep are also hard at work, that they too collaborate in what happens. End quote. Some of us work in one way, and some in others. And those who complain and try to obstruct and thwart things, they help as much as anyone. The world needs them as well. So make up your mind who you'll choose to work with. The force that directs all things will make good use of you regardless. Will put you on its payroll and set you to work. But make sure it's not the job Chrysippus speaks of. The bad line in the play, put there for laughs. 43. Does the sun try to do the rain's work? Or Asclepius Demeter's? And what about each of the stars, different, yet working in common? 44. If the gods have made decisions about me and the things that happen to me, then they were good decisions. It's hard to picture a god who makes bad ones. And why would they expend their energies on causing me harm? What good would it do them, or the world, which is their primary concern? And if they haven't made decisions about me as an individual, they certainly have about the general welfare. And anything that follows from that is something I have to welcome and embrace. And if they make no decisions about anything, and it's blasphemous even to think so, because if so, then let's stop sacrificing, praying, swearing oaths, and doing all the other things we do, believing the whole time that the gods are right here with us. If they decide nothing about our lives, well, I can still make decisions, can still consider what it's to my benefit to do. And what benefits anyone is to do what his own nature requires. And mine is rational and civic. My city and state are Rome, as Antoninus, but as a human being, the world. So for me, good can only mean what's good for both communities. 45. Whatever happens to you is for the good of the world. That would be enough right there. But if you look closely, you'll generally notice something else as well. Whatever happens to a single person is for the good of others. Good in the ordinary sense, as the world defines it. 46. Just as the arena and the other spectacles weary you, you've seen them all before, and the repetition grates on your nerves. So too with life. The same things, the same causes, on all sides. How much longer? 47. Keep this constantly in mind. All sorts of people have died. All professions, all nationalities. Follow the thought all the way down to Philistine, Phoebus, and Origanian. Now extend it to other species. We have to go there too, where all of them have already gone. The eloquent and the wise, Heraclitus, Pythagoras, Socrates, the heroes of old, the soldiers and kings who followed them, Eudoxus, Hipparchus, Archimedes, the smart, the generous, the hard-working, the cunning, the selfish, and even Menipus and his cohorts, who laughed at the whole brief, fragile business. All underground for a long time now. And what harm does it do them? Or the others, either. The ones whose names we don't even know. The only thing that isn't worthless. To live this life out truthfully and rightly. And be patient with those who don't. 48. When you need encouragement, think of the qualities the people around you have. This one's energy, that one's modesty, another's generosity, and so on. Nothing is as encouraging as when virtues are visibly embodied in the people around us, when we're practically showered with them. It's good to keep this in mind. That's actually very, very true. That's something that I actually do a lot. Let me just open this up in case you guys are talking in the chat. All right, sorry. There we go. I don't expect anyone to be in there, but now I have it open just in case. Okay. 49. It doesn't bother you that you weigh only X or Y pounds and not 300. Why should it bother you that you have only X or Y years to live and not more? You accept the limits placed on your body. Accept those placed on your time. That's an interesting one. Let me read that again. It doesn't bother you that you weigh only X or Y pounds and not 300. Okay. I got that. Yeah. So let's say, for example, like, oh, I weigh 170 and not 300. Yeah, that's fine. Not 300 pounds, whatever. Why should it bother you that you only have X or Y years to live and not more? I think that statement's a little flawed because he's saying you were not bothered if we only weigh a certain amount of pounds and not 300 pounds. And then he kind of does a wild switch up where he's like, why should it bother you that you only have like X amount of years to live and not more? But the difference between those two is you can change your weight by eating more and gaining weight, but you can't gain more years. You have to deal with that. I don't know. That one's a little... I don't know if I fully agree with that one. It's interesting. Don't know if I fully agree with it, though. I think the logic's a little flimsy on that one. 50. Do your best to convince them, but act on your own if justice requires it. If met with force, then fall back on acceptance and peaceability. Use the setback to practice other virtues. Remember that our efforts are subject to circumstances. You weren't aiming to do the impossible. Aiming to do what then? To try, and you succeeded. What you set out to do is accomplished. 51. Ambition means tying your well-being to what other people say or do. Self-indulgence means tying it to the things that happen to you. Sanity means tying it to your own actions. 52. You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you. Things can't shape our decisions by themselves. 53. Practice really hearing what people say. Do your best to get inside their minds. 54. What injures the hive injures the bee. 55. If the crew talked back to the captain, or patients to their doctor, then whose authority would they accept? How could the passengers be kept safe, or the patient healthy? 56. All those people who came into the world with me and have already left it. 57. Honey tastes bitter to a man with jaundice. People with rabies are terrified of water. And a child's idea of beauty is a ball. Why does that upset you? Do you think falsehood is less powerful than bile or a rabid dog? 58. No one can keep you from living as your nature requires. Nothing can happen to you that is not required by nature. 59. The people they want to ingratiate themselves with, and the results, and the things they do in the process, how quickly it will all be erased by time. How much has been erased already? That is the end of Book 6. We are now on to Book 7 of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. I wish I could be lying down in the sunflower field, man, with that mountain view. Oh. Gorgeous. Someday. Someday I'd like to visit New Zealand. Just be around nature. Book 7. Let us continue. 1. Evil. The same old thing. No matter what happens, keep this in mind. It's the same old thing, from one end of the world to the other. It fills the history books, ancient and modern, and the cities and the houses too. Nothing new at all. Familiar. Transient. 2. You cannot quench understanding unless you put out the insights that compose it. But you can rekindle those at will, like glowing coals. I can control my thoughts as necessary. Then how can I be troubled? What is outside my mind means nothing to it. Absorb that lesson, and your feet stand firm. You can return to life. Look at things as you did before, and life returns. 3. Pointless bustling of processions, opera areas, herds of sheep and cattle, military exercises, a bone flung to pet poodles, a little food in the fish tank, the miserable servitude of ants, scampering of frightened mice, puppets jerked on strings. Surrounded as we are by all of this, we need to practice acceptance without disdain, but remembering that our own worth is measured by what we devote our energy to. 4. Focus on what is said when you speak and on what results from each action. Know what the one aims at, what the other means. Oh. Excuse me. 5. Is my intellect up to this? If so, then I'll put it to work, like a tool provided by nature. And if it isn't, then I'll turn the job over to someone who can do better, unless I have no choice. Or I do the best I can with it, and collaborate with whoever can make use of it, to do what the community needs done, because whatever I do, alone or with others, can aim at one thing only: what squares with those requirements. 6. So many who were remembered, already forgotten, and those who remembered them, long gone. 7. Don't be ashamed to need help. Like a soldier storming a wall, you have a mission to accomplish. And if you've been wounded and you need a comrade to pull you up, so what? That's a good one. That's a very good one. Read that one again. 7. Don't be ashamed to need help. Like a soldier storming a wall, you have a mission to accomplish. And if you've been wounded and you need a comrade to pull you up, so what? 8. Forget the future. When and if it comes, you'll have the same resources to draw on, the same logos. 9. Everything is interwoven, and the web is holy. None of its parts are unconnected. They are composed harmoniously, and together they compose the world. One world, made up of all things. One divinity, present in them all. One substance and one law, the logos that all rational beings share, and one truth. If this is indeed the culmination of one process, beings who share the same birth, the same logos. 10. All substance is soon absorbed into nature. All that animates it soon restored to the logos. All trace of them both soon covered over by time. To a being with logos, an unnatural action is one that conflicts with the logos. 12. Straight, not straightened. 13. What is rational in different beings is related, like the individual limbs of a single being, and meant to function as a unit. This will be clearer to you if you remind yourself, I am a single limb, milos, of a larger body, a rational one. Or you could say, a part, meros, only a letter's difference. But then you're not really embracing other people. Helping them isn't yet its own reward. You're still seeing it only as the right thing to do. You don't yet realizing who you're really helping. 14. Let it happen, if it wants, to whatever it can happen to, and what's affected can complain about it if it wants. It doesn't hurt me unless I interpret its happening as harmful to me. I can choose not to. Read that one again. 14. Let it happen, if it wants, to whatever it can happen to, and what's affected can complain about it if it wants. It doesn't hurt me unless I interpret its happening. Let's say that again. Fuck. It doesn't hurt me unless I interpret its happening as harmful to me. I can choose not to. 15. No matter what anyone says or does, my task is to be good, like gold or emerald or purple repeating to itself. No matter what anyone says or does, my task is to be emerald, my color, undiminished. 16. The mind doesn't get in its own way. It doesn't frighten itself into desires. If other things can scare or hurt it, let them. It won't go down that road on the basis of its own perceptions. Let the body avoid discomfort, if it can, and if it feels it, say so. But the soul is what feels fear and pain, and what conceives of them in the first place, and it suffers nothing, because it will never conclude that it has. The mind in itself has no needs, except for those it creates itself, is undisturbed, except for its own disturbances, knows no obstructions, except those from within. 17. Well-being is good luck, or good character. 17a. But what are you doing here, perceptions? Get back to where you came from, and good riddance. I don't need you. Yes, I know. It was only force of habit that brought you. No, I'm not angry with you. Just go away. 18. Frightened of change? But what can exist without it? What's closer to nature's heart? Can you take a hot bath and leave the firewood as it was? Eat food without transforming it? Can any vital process take place without something being changed? Can't you see? It's just the same with you, and just as vital to nature. 19. Carried through existence as through rushing rapids, all bodies, which are sprung from nature and cooperate with it, as our limbs do with each other. Time has swallowed a Chrysippus, a Socrates, and an Epictetus many times over. For Epictetus, read any person and anything. "20. My only fear is doing something contrary to human nature, the wrong thing, the wrong way, or at the wrong time. 21. Close to forgetting it all, close to being forgotten. 22. To feel affection for people, even when they make mistakes, is uniquely human. You can do it if you simply recognize that they're human too, that they act out of ignorance, against their will, and that you'll both be dead before long. And, above all, that they haven't really hurt you. They haven't diminished your ability to choose. 23. Nature takes substance and makes a horse, like a sculptor with wax, and then melts it down and uses the material for a tree, then for a person, then for something else, each existing only briefly. It does the container no harm to be put together, and none to be taken apart. 24. Anger in the face is unnatural, blank, or in the end is put out for good, so that it can't be rekindled. Try to conclude its unnaturalness from that. If even the consciousness of acting badly has gone, why go on living? 25. Before long, nature, which controls it all, will alter everything you see and use it as material for something else over and over again, so that the world is continually renewed. 26. When people injure you, ask yourself what good or harm they thought would come of it. If you understand that, you'll feel sympathy rather than outrage or anger. Your sense of good and evil may be the same as theirs, or near it, in which case you have to excuse them. Or your sense of good and evil may differ from theirs, in which case they're misguided and deserve your compassion. Is that so hard? 27. Treat what you don't have as non-existent. Look at what you have, the things you value most, and think of how much you'd crave them if you didn't have them. But be careful. Don't feel such satisfaction that you start to overvalue them, that it would upset you to lose them. 28. Self-contraction. The mind's requirements are satisfied by doing what we should, and by the calm it brings us. 29. Discard your misperceptions. Stop being jerked like a puppet. Limit yourself to the present. Understand what happens to you, to others. Analyze what exists. Break it all down, material and cause. Anticipate your final hours. Other people's mistakes? Leave them to their makers. 30. To direct your thoughts to what is said. To focus the mind on what happens and what makes it happen. 31. Wash yourself clean. With simplicity, with humility, with indifference to everything but right and wrong. Care for other human beings. Follow God. 31a. Quote, all are relative. It's been said. And in reality, only atoms. It's enough to remember the first half, all are relative, which is little enough. 32. On death. If atoms dispersed, if oneness quenched or changed. 33. On pain. Unendurable pain brings its own end with it. Chronic pain is always endurable. The intelligence maintains serenity by cutting itself off from the body. The mind remains undiminished, and the parts that pain affects, let them speak for themselves, if they can. 34. On ambition. How their minds work, the things they long for and fear. Events like piles of sand, drift upon drift, each one soon hidden by the next. 35. If his mind is filled with nobility, with a grasp of all time, all existence, do you think our human life will mean much to him at all? How could it, he said, or death be very frightening? Not in the least. 36. Kingship. To earn a bad reputation by good deeds. 37. Disgraceful. That the mind should control the face, should be able to shape and mold it as it pleases, but not shape and mold itself. 38. And why should we feel anger at the world, as if the world would notice? 39. May you bring joy to us and those on high. 40. To harvest life like standing stalks of grain, grown and cut down in turn. 41. If I and my 2 children cannot move the gods must have their reasons. 42. For what is just and good is on my side. 43. No chorus of lamentation, no hysterics. Excuse me. 44. Then the only proper response for me to make is this. You are much mistaken, my friend, if you think that any man worth his salt cares about the risk of death and doesn't concentrate on this alone, whether what he's doing is right or wrong, and his behavior a good man's or a bad one's. 45. It's like this, gentlemen of the jury. The spot where a person decides to station himself, or wherever his commanding officer stations him. Well, I think that's where he ought to take his stand and face the enemy, and not worry about being killed, or about anything but doing his duty. 46. But, my good friend, consider the possibility that nobility and virtue are not synonymous with the loss or preservation of one's life. It is not possible, that a real man should forget about living a certain number of years, and should not cling to life, but leave it up to the gods, accepting, as women say, that no one can escape his fate, and turn his attention to how he can best live the life before him. "47. To watch the courses of the stars as if you revolved with them, to keep constantly in mind how the elements alter into one another. Thoughts like this wash off the mud of life below. 48. Plato has it right. If you want to talk about people, you need to look down on the earth from above. Herds, armies, farms, weddings, divorces, births, deaths, noisy courtrooms, desert places, all the foreign peoples, holidays, days of mourning, market days, all mixed together, a harmony of opposites. 49. Look at the past, empire succeeding empire, and from that, extrapolate the future, the same thing. No escape from the rhythm of events, which is why observing life for 40 years is as good as 1,000. Would you really see anything new? 50. Earth's offspring back to earth. But all that's born of heaven, to heaven returns again. Either that, or the cluster of atoms pulls apart, and one way or another, the insensible elements disperse. 51. With food and drink and magic spells, seeking some novel way to frustrate death. 51a. To labor cheerfully, and so endure the wind that blows from heaven. 52. A better wrestler, but not a better citizen. A better person, a better resource in tight places, a better forgiver of faults. 53. Wherever something can be done as the logos shared by gods and men dictates, there all is in order. Where there is profit because our effort is productive, because it advances in step with our nature, that we have nothing to fear. "54. Everywhere, at each moment, you have the option to accept this event with humility, to treat this person as he should be treated, to approach this thought with care, so that nothing irrational creeps in. 55. Don't pay attention to other people's minds. Look straight ahead, where nature is leading you. Nature in general. Through the things that happen to you, and your own nature, through your own actions. Everything has to do what it was made for, and other things were made for those with logos. In this respect, as in others, lower things exist for the sake of higher ones, and the higher things for one another. Now, the main thing we were made for is to work with others. Secondly, to resist our body's urges, because things driven by logos, by thought, have the capacity for detachment, to resist impulses and sensations, both of which are merely corporeal. Thought seeks to be their master, not their subject. And so it should. They were created for its use. And the third thing is to avoid rashness and credulity. The mind that grasps this and steers straight ahead should be able to hold its own. 56. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. 57. That's actually, well, hang on. That's interesting. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. 57. To love only what happens, what was destined. No greater harmony. 58. In all that happens, keep before your eyes those who experienced it before you, and felt shock and outrage and resentment at it. And now, where are they? Nowhere. Is that what you want to be like? Instead of avoiding all these distracting assaults, leaving the alarms and flight to others, and concentrating on what you can do with it all, because you can use it. Treat it as raw material. Just pay attention and resolve to live up to your own expectations in everything. And when faced with a choice, remember, our business is with things that really matter. And I think that is where we will end our reading for today. Want to thank everybody that tuned into the stream today for part 50 of my journey to becoming a voice actor. And I will give an update if I ever do become one. I will. But until then, I want to thank all of you for tuning in and listening. Tomorrow, there may or may not be a stream. We'll see. But if I don't see you tomorrow, then I will see you definitely on Wednesday. So until then, take care and have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. It is gorgeous where I'm at right now. I hope it is wherever you're at too. Take care, everyone.